And we are recording.
The September 2025 meeting of the Board of Commissioners for the SWPRD Parks and Recreation District is called to order at 6:01 p.m. We have a quorum present. Is there anyone for public comment?
There's not.
Thank you. Moving on to the financial report.
Okay, just a simple report this month, nothing too drastic, but a couple interesting things. So this is, there we go. The revenue budget and the actual revenue this month is good. It's a little tighter than it was last month, but still $14,000 difference. No outliers there that caused alarms. Same thing with the expenditures. Budgeted about 1.542 million. Our actual expenditures are only at 1.2, which is good. So we have a healthy difference there still, which is good news. Fund balances are pretty consistent. You'll notice the capital funds for the Maxwell Trails. We spent some money down in that, which is great. So we're hoping to eliminate that altogether with the purchase of gravel for in the next couple months. So we're hoping in the next couple months to have that last $11,000 spent. So that's good news. And we'll have 3 bars for you guys to look at. The construction fund, I got a couple interesting things here. You'll see the money starting to move. We have our first couple of big invoices that started coming in. Good news on the middle, we added a new bar in the middle for the contingency. It's important that we track. You may recall we have a 10% contingency on this project. We actually have higher than 10% now because we went back through the budget. Bloom Projects in particular went back through and just kind of tightened things up and just relooked at things. The budget's going to flex back and forth for a while as things settle and the real prices come in, because there's, you go from estimating to real prices. So the good news is contingency right now is up a little over 3 million. It was at 2.4. So that just is going to give us more money towards issues that could come up. Anything, if we have too much money at the end, which of course we'll never have, the LTGO bond will just be smaller. So anything we have at the end that hasn't been spent, we'll just get a smaller LTGO bond. So the goal is to keep that LTGO bond as low as we can get it when we have to get it. So that higher contingency helps. So, and we've had a couple little change orders we've had to deal with, but they've been minor at this point. So as the land starts to move and things start to get settled, that's one of the bigger troubled areas for change orders. So everything's been good so far. We'll talk more about the trees and all that in a little bit. But anyways, so the construction fund, you're going to start seeing these bars skew quite a bit over the next few months as the numbers start skewing, and we're going after the 12 million here in a couple months too to get that even more. So overall budget's healthy and good shape. Nothing too crazy. Before I get to vouchers, any questions on those? So we'll pop over and look at the vouchers, highlight a few things. I'll highlight a few things that I had and then open to anything you guys saw in here. Northwest Natural Water, this is a normal bill for $300, but just kind of getting it on your radar that we've had some struggles with communication. We've got some violation notices, a couple of them this year because things haven't been submitted and then had a hard time working with them. So this might be something over the next year we're kind of looking at to see if there is other options. This is the people that kind of do the water testing for us, are the ones that we rely on for, to make sure that we're in compliance with the state. This is nothing but just an FYI. If this comes up next year, you'll kind of see some of the problems. SIBOs, the paint, we'll talk about this a little bit later, but we had some vandalism out at Lone Lake that I emailed you guys about. The paint here is about $150 is what it cost us to fix that.
Reimbursed by
we don't. We just eat that. School district bill, we paid $18,000, which is November through August. Yeah. School district's trying to figure out their schedule, and Sky's kind of in the middle of all this because really Sky has been doing all the scheduling for the gyms, all gyms, the 3, 2 at the community center and the 1 here. And the school district's trying to figure out how they want to do it going forward. So we just agreed to catch up, and they want to come back to the table and talk about our arrangement at the community center and yada, yada. So there's some conversations coming down the
Why
pipe, but,
does it say November 2020?
I was gonna ask you what,
oh, I'm sorry, that's a typo. It's November 2025.
No.
Oh, no, it's
No, it's
24.
2024.
No, this is 25, no.
So it's
12 months that we're talking about,
It's almost, yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's
We hadn't been
November
invoiced since
24.
November. So we owed the money from November on. So that's why.
It's a
you
9-month
could-
invoice.
Brian, could you update that entry to reflect the period that it covers?
Yeah. Can we
On this sheet,
make it say November 24 to August 25?
it actually does say that internally in the electronic version, yeah, in the system and on the printed voucher, it actually says that it's through, I believe it's August.
It is.
It just doesn't fit in that line then.
Okay.
In this particular report.
So
That doesn't
Has
matter.
that gone up or down over the
It's-
past couple of years, or is it roughly?
it's a really,
I'm just curious.
yeah, it's a good question. It's a really confusing formula that's being used right now. So that's part of the reason that we're talking to the school district. We like to get to a flat fee that makes sense for both sides. And we've started that conversation, and that's kind of where we're kind of headed. But right now, it's a formula based on usage. So we're there so many hours a month, and I won't even explain the formula to you because it's really confusing. But it's basically based on an hourly, how much we're using the gym. And right now, our revenue exceeds our pickleball in particular exceeds our expenditure. So we're not hurting there by any means, but I think we budgeted 20 or 22 over the last couple of years. I think it was 20 last year and 22 the year before. So this is close to what we expected to pay, but we're gonna be sitting at the table with the new superintendent. We've been volleying meeting times, trying to figure out a time to sit down and chat this through a little bit, because community center is an interesting little building, but it's important to the community. I mean, having those gyms available is huge. So anyways, so that's the invoice there, and I'm sure there'll be updates over the next few months as we have those meetings with the school district. Trico, just pointing out that this is our first big pickleball invoice. The reason it's split into two is the $54,576 number reflects the amount of donations that were given through the Parks and Aquatic Foundation. So for their records, it helped them that we had a check cut in the exact amount. So for their auditing and purposes, they asked if we do that. So that's the amount we're going to get reimbursed, which is over 50,000. So the parks or the pickleball people actually raised over their goal, which is great. So anyways, that's why there's two Trico checks there for one invoice. And then the last thing I think that I had pointed out was just that you'll see a $1,500 check written to me. And that was just because the state of Washington put some last minute requirements on us for tree removal and delayed us a little bit. And as part of that, we had to get we had to pay an application fee with no time. So anyways, so I paid it, got reimbursed. So that's why that's there. So, and Carrie did a good job of over documenting that. So if an auditor wonders what $1,500 checks would be.
Including Jennifer signed off on
Yes.
it in advance, so.
Yeah.
It does look odd to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a little bonus check. No, it wasn't it. But their office is in Cedar Woolley, and there's not a lot of banks in Cedar Woolley. So going to our local bank wouldn't have even been an option. So anyways, that's my comments on the vouchers. Anything else from anyone else?
Just out of curiosity, one that caught me was it was like $1,000 for the timing of the triathlon. Is that something we always have, or is that new? That it always runs about that much. It's an outside organization in charge of timing.
They have the timing mats and the software.
Yeah.
It used to be.
Voodoo. Voodoo Racing.
Gotcha.
What was the number that you said?
Was it like
It was just
$1,000?
about-
Just
okay,
over-
It's
yeah,
about
yeah.
1,000.
Yeah.
Well, that's all I have for the vouchers.
Questions on the vouchers? All right, I would entertain a motion for the consent agenda.
I will make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second that motion.
It has been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Eric, I.
Mr. I.
Big guy.
And I,
Jennifer, aye. All those opposed say nay. The ayes have it, and the motion passes. Moving on to the staff report, please.
Yes. We're gonna do this first. I think we'll let Sky do his quarterly recreation report as the first part of our staff report, and then I'll fill in the rest of the stuff later. So you're up, Mr. Dunn.
All right, well, moving into fall of 2025, is usually one of our slower times of the year, definitely increase in field usage all around and scheduling, but as opposed to the programs we're offering, not much outdoors, everything's kind of slowly migrating indoors. So currently we have 17 pickleball sessions per week, 2-hour sessions per week. October, November, we're going to have up to 19 sessions because there are a couple outdoor groups that we work with to start coming inside. It'll be interesting to see with the opening of the new courts come next spring, what kind of demand we have. In conversations I've had with numerous players, some still really like playing indoors because they say it's a little bit easier on the joints, or they just don't have to worry about the wind. They don't have to worry about sunscreen sometimes, or there's pine needles. So we're gonna, we kind of have to play this by ear as we move along these ports, but they are gonna be a huge asset for the amount of players that we have. We're averaging about 60 monthly passes a month that are sold to different players. They get unlimited play at any of those 17 or 19 sessions as long as they make it before we cut off people. Most popular sessions by far are Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8:30 in the morning. We usually have people waiting times at like 10 to 8 already, trying to make sure they get their sessions in. And from all that, because they've had to turn away so many people, now the 10:30 sessions also come to capacity. So we used to only have the 8:30. We then did a 10:30 session just because we had so many people that they couldn't get their Jones in a pickleball out. So we've added more, and that is filled up too.
Great.
Weekend sessions are kind of hit and miss in the summertime, but they definitely pick up come fall. And then we have night sessions 3 nights a week. And we'll probably be moving that to 4 now that the weather's going to change. We'll usually do Monday through Thursdays from 6 to 8. Katie, that helps, that's rec assistant that helps make my life a lot easier, not having to run back and forth to those gyms, is a certified pickleball instructor. So we've had her running some skills classes. She's just this last Friday worked where we had 4 people approach saying, hey, can we do a private lesson with your instructor? And so we were able to do a 90-minute session. It was $25 a person, and she did. We just have to work around the scheduling with the community center.
Deal.
Woodby Island Pickleball does their intro classes usually quarterly. So I'm working with Barry on when the next one will be. And then we're gonna start our round robin pickleball league back up in October. We've done those in the spring, but as the weather got better and people take off for the summer and whatever, fall's a good time because everybody starts hibernating a bit more. And they're not as active, so they're trying to find some more activities. Volleyball, we have Thursday nights, and we used to have Sunday afternoons. But I was approached by the volleyball volunteer that we have and said, hey, can we do a morning one instead on the weekends? That way we don't have to worry about the evenings. We can get it done and then our day's done. So we now have a morning session for Sunday volleyball. Futsal, once we start getting the fields closed, after soccer season's done, we'll be offering Monday and Wednesday evenings from 6 to 8, and then usually we do a Saturday from 2 to 4, and those are upstairs in the main gym. Line dancing with Gigi, first and second Sunday of each month from noon to 1 o'clock. Trying to get that one built up now as everybody's kind of getting indoors too. And then we have reading with Rover that will begin October 16th. They got displaced from the classroom that they used to use, so we worked around a little bit, and for now we're able to use the South Campus gym just right across the walkway over here. Those are evening classes that go from 6 to 9. We're getting into youth basketball season. So normally at this time, we would be getting little dribblers, which is for our kind of kindergarten, first grade, reviewing the basic motor skills and movement concepts and some of the basic rules of basketball. At this time, we would normally be using the South Campus gym, but I was just notified that the Boys and Girls Club is now utilizing that after school. I don't have a schedule of when they're using it. So my guess is probably 5 o'clock at least. So that kind of, we used to always do that little dribblers one immediately after schools. It was a lot easier on the parents and for the kids. And that's the only gym that really I can have 8-foot hoops that work well at. I'm looking into purchasing a couple heavy duty rolling ones that'll adjust from 8 to 10 feet, but they are kind of expensive. But I think it would also help since there is becoming less and less gym space. We move along with construction and everything else.
And can I point out that is a to be determined because we do have an ILA with the school district, which would give us priority over the Boys and Girls Club. This isn't their primary location, the Boys and Girls Club. It's a gym they use as a supplement to their main room where the kids meet. So we don't want to boot them out by any means, but it was just that we were just notified and we just haven't had time to get back to the school district to say, hey, here's some schedule issues that we have. So we haven't given up on this. It's just right now it's in flux. And that's part of the confusion with what's going on and they're figuring things out.
Yeah, and the recognition that, there having been a parent with a young child at one point, there's not a lot of childcare options right after school. So between that facility and then the multi-purpose gym at the community center downstairs, so the Southwood Beach Children's Center now uses that after school until 5 o'clock every day, I think. So we're having to move, that's the pickleball gym. So we're having to shuffle the nets on and off every day now for the most part, Monday through Friday. We also have, the youth basketball rec league. I made this saying opens November 4th. That was before some discussions trying to figure out what gyms will be available, and at what times, because that's really trying to figure out how we can make all of the practices work, how many kids you're going to have in each age division, how we can make that work with different height hoops. I'd really love to have it November 4th because that gives us some feed in toward the end of the year before everything starts in January. And then we have Woodby Island Admirals basketball, which former high school coach Kevin Tempest, it's his nonprofit called Swish, that he's been running programs with us to just generally keep kids playing basketball throughout the entire year. So he does 2 separate age groups. Right now he's just doing a skill session on Fridays, and on Sundays he runs scrimmages. With those, it's the same thing where in looking to have some options for different size hoops that are portable yet heavy duty. If that was something we could have at the upstairs gym at the community center, it would allow him to not have to bounce between different gyms everywhere all the time, and could maybe even have both groups at once. Basketball is unique in that you have the different size hoops, or depending on that age. So,
So, when you're talking about these adjustable,
yes,
and you said they're kind of expensive. Like, what's expensive?
like for 2 of them, it'd probably be with shipping about $3,500. I mean, you can get away with buying the $200 Huffy ones, but in my experience, they're not going to last, and you have to fill them with sand or water to make them worthwhile.
Yeah.
But I was able to find one where, yeah, they're really heavy duty and on wheels, and they fold up. So, and my other big concern is if you have hoops like that sitting around anywhere, people want to dump off. So how do we make it so we can keep the 25-year-old that we have at they'll drop in basketball from being that in order to relive their glory days and show off on what they used to do. Me being one of them, probably. You too? Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, we lost a lot of
It'd be
kids in
tempting.
middle school due to the 9-foot hoops. So
Yeah, no, it's the reason why we have locks on those outdoor hoops out there is, if we accidentally leave one down one time after a Skyhawks camp or something, you will see a dozen high schoolers out there just full on dunk contest hanging on the rims. Which again, fun as heck, but unless you have $10,000 basketball systems, they're not gonna last.
just a thought about little dribblers. Is there a possibility maybe proposing it to the PE program? My kids both did little dribblers through PE. That's how it used to be. Jan McNeely did little dribblers, jump rope club. It was done in the PE classes. So it might be a possibility there. I'm mentoring the new PE teacher and would be happy to ask if she was amicable.
That would be great.
Because that would solve both problems.
Yeah, and so
Try to
did they
get more
usually,
kids involved.
did they usually do that after school too, or was that part of?
No, they did it. They did it during school. Yeah, during school. Then they had a halftime game, much like I assume we've been doing, right? Halftime game. They come out and they
At the high school game?
We
No,
do it with the
not
cheer.
recently.
high school halftime. Oh, you didn't do that?
We've
Not
been doing it with
recently.
the cheer, because when we've been doing the little dribblers has been before the high school basketball season started. Recent. Yeah. So,
Yeah, we used to do it. We used to because both my kids did that, and it was during a halftime show. They came out, and did their thing, and it was great. That was the highlight for a lot of adults watching them come out. That and the jump rope as well. But possibility. If you want, let's talk and
yeah, let's definitely
talk.
have a conversation about that. Next. All right, well, here's the sample schedule of what you'll find next week going on at the community center. Something, it's a little small to read, but anything in red is the upstairs gym. Anything in blue is pretty much pickleball or the downstairs gym. There is the children's center stuff listed in there. And on the far right in red, you can see no main gym use. There's an art class that is located in the old cafeteria right below the main gym. And when there are 4-day art classes, they would like us to not have anybody in the gym above because it's just loud jumping and sounds all over them. Everything's kind of, I have a feeling we're gonna kind of be starting from square one again with how our system for scheduling and use is going to be with the school district and the community center as we move forward.
How goes it with finding more instructors for more kind of dance to fill the hole of the programming that we lost earlier this year?
Well, I put something out in the dance group, and that's where I found Gigi.
Yeah.
In conversations I've had with people that don't live around here but are instructors, one of the tougher pieces that I've come across is that they don't own the program per se. You still have to fall within the rules, and everybody wants to be able to have like drop-ins, paying money here and there. That's kind of where we get held up, is with that. Everybody either has to prepay or we're having somebody that's very, very diligent with the payments on it. Because the nature of the beast, yeah, is you're going to a health club where it's kind of included with it. Or you're getting charged when you walk into the facility. Unless we're paying for an employee to be charging people when they walk into the facility, it falls on the instructor, which is not, is not preferred. We would always, it's much easier when it's our own programs that aren't being contracted out to a different instructor. Because then we can at least oversee that money handling a lot better.
And there's no app for that.
That is a great question that I think more falls within how the county would be willing for us to be receiving funds. We still live in a world where it takes us at least 2 days to cut a check to somebody, so I don't know. You know, in a perfect world to be able to say, hey, we take Venmo, like, it'd be great. I just, that would fall within more of the accounting and business piece of it.
County has approved vendors. I mean, keeping in mind that all of the money goes to the county, right? It doesn't really flow to us. So they have approved vendors that can be used if very limited, and probably not going to be multiple vendors for those kinds of transactions. But
And you'd still have to have somebody there making sure you're seeing that person pay in real time.
Yeah.
Is the other factor to it all. I mean, the solution is a rec center with somebody working at a front desk, really, what our best
we'll
option.
have a little space pretty soon.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah. Definitely. Sports complex. 5 select teams. A lot of youth soccer teams. We can't utilize the elementary school field right now, because that's considered a construction site. So the only teams that are allowing to use that are the high school teams, but nothing that's not school related, because the high school coach is a school employee, so that works for them. But outside users right now is off limits.
Till December 1st. That's
So
where-
the time,
Yeah.
yeah, till.
so when the winter hits, when we need that field, it should be back.
Yeah, we're getting more Sunday use. We were a little worried that we weren't gonna be able to have the upper field. For games, which really would have put a huge constraint if you didn't have the elementary field, and you didn't have the upper field. Gosh, Tom would get even balder. But thankfully, construction decided to allow it so that, yeah, there's definite pathways that are alongside of it that are closed off, but the field itself is usable, which means there's still a full-size field. So we're getting a bit more Sunday games, I think, than we normally would have had, because it used to only be one select team maybe, and now we have 5 different select teams along with all the other youth soccer clubs. One of the bigger things we're dealing with is just not getting people to not go around the pickleball construction. It's definitely, I want to say contentious, but there's definitely people that don't want to pay attention or respect the signage or whatever it says, you know, can't come through here. It's, well, I mean, how's my kid supposed to get to soccer practice? They're gonna have to get a ride, carpool, figure out some way, but this is closed off. It's, I think a lot of people want to negotiate, and it's beyond our control. And the reality is this isn't forever. It's just a small period while some construction is going on, much like what's going on at the high school. But even with that, we have to work around, kids sneaking and coming through, because parents have been wanting to use the park as a pickup drop-off spot. So we've had to put signage up and work with the school district to say not to do that too. But much like keep your dog on a leash, 99% of people do, but there's still 1% that are gonna.
Everybody was great at trust them today.
Love them.
It's the new science.
Yes,
So-
even yours. I loved that.
So we'll see how that goes. One of the big things this weekend, we'll have 1,000 cross-country runners in the trails. So we had to work the school district on that one so they could know what areas were closed off and rewrite their Westland Invitational route for it. Beyond that, I don't know what we know about the district track meet or cross-country meet yet, but it's, everybody's gotta be, we all need to be a little flexible right now. for the most part, everybody is, but there's always.
The
Some squeaky
material
wheels.
got from the cross-country people were the pool project moving into the upper trail up there. And I told them, I believe that just lumber, that the trees are being taken down. Most of the work is on the lower part.
Yeah, we've got it mapped out, and this was quite a achievement. But we got it to John, the AD, and the cross country is fine. The north side of the property, there are some closures by where the Island County building is there, the old offices. But that's not where cross country goes. Sky's also dealing, the P teacher reached out today, the football coach reached out today. So everyone's trying to figure out, because the school's limited and we're limited, and so everyone's trying to figure out how to make it work. But we do have, we don't have all the trails, but it's called the work site. The work site is the liability and insurance of Lincoln from now until the project is completed. So even if they're not particularly using the trails for a certain week or two, it's still their liability, and they still have to make decisions as to whether things are open or closed, because they carry the risk. So same thing we're doing with the elementary school. The school district decided, the contractor for the school district decided that having community groups on the elementary school soccer field was a liability that was theirs, and they didn't want to keep it. I get that. So it's the same concept in reverse. It's just, but it's not as black and white as we'd like it. I know the P coach or the P teacher in particular at the high school is, very interested in get a more detailed explanation of what trails, and we just don't have it yet. So we're giving it to them as we have it, and but it's pretty open. I mean, you can get a good walk in the general park users, but it is, I don't say it's funny, but it's almost, the saying of the office is the rules apply to thee, not to me. Because people will I was walking up to the pickleball yesterday, and someone's just walking right past the 5 closed signs that they have to walk past. I'm like, man, the trail's closed. Oh, I know. And Tom's dealing with that all the time, and it's gotten better. And that's only about a month for those trails, and that's been the biggest impact, because people get in their routines, and the routine is to park at the sports complex and go on the trails. So
I think the high school concern more is, I mean, I know this guy's well, like it's just walk fit classes.
Yeah.
They just want to preemptively know where they can go and where they can't go.
Yeah, and I gave them a map with what you were told they're closing down. Highlighted in red, and most of it is kind of around the water tower and the service roads heading up. They just change that at any time. What I recommended to them was, we looked at the Max Walden trails. I gave them the link to that, and
those are open.
yeah, because it connects over. I was like, it connects over to all the school trails and everything. So, for a couple of months, you need an alternative. This might be your best bet.
Yeah, I'll bring it up with them too as well. And their classes are longer. They can do that. For the younger kids, they have lesser time, so the Maxwell becomes a little less appealing.
Yeah, and he was amenable to it. I mean, he was fine with it. It was more just like, what do I need to know? Right now? Yeah, he sent everybody up, and all of a sudden it was just a surprise. Like, wait, there's stuff closed.
It's contractor communicates with us, we'll communicate with the school, and weather's going to change pretty soon, and no one's going to care. Right, so it is a short little season of where people want to get out there. We get them, and they're pretty open. Like I said, we don't have that many closures right now. By the water tank, there's some closure. By the old office, there's some closure. But for the most part, the trails are pretty open, and by the sports complex, which is the big.
Yeah, we've even had pickleball groups that, they're still at times trying to sneak in and use those painted lines, but that now is, it's a thoroughfare for all the construction going in and out. So I think Tom painted over those and put new lines in the other day. But the other issue with it was, on the weekends, if that's closed off, then there is parking everywhere on Langley Road for the soccer game. Especially since we used to take the 8 and under games and we'd stick those on the elementary field because that was the biggest use, but now they're going to be at the park there. So being able to just even open that lower lot on the weekends is going to alleviate a lot of congestion.
Did we get a Boys and Girls Club, or is it part of the Coopvilles?
It is a satellite of the Coopville one.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the first I heard about it. That's really neat.
Makes it nice for the parents not to have to drive to Coopville to pick their children up.
It was last year that they started doing the school
Last
down here.
Oh, okay.
Any questions for Sky before we go on to the other reports? Facility and ground report, just normal end of summer business. A significant amount of Tom's time is currently being taken up by these capital projects. Quite honestly, to be, direct, because I think it's important you guys hear this, way too many sticks and way too many fires right now. The staff is running at a very unhealthy pace. But we're getting it done and we'll get it done. The next couple months with the audit coming, and then we got the bond ratings and we got the budgets and we've got the two projects. There's just a million sticks. And Tom is in the middle of his park now being impacted on two different locations. So he is coming to all the meetings and also having to deal with the people walking through the trails and communicating all that out. So just a lot going on. So I told Tom to take the night off. I said, just stay home. Go fishing. Can he still go fishing? I'm not even sure. Maybe he's off then. Sky mentioned, but they did take advantage of the sun this week and restripe that parking lot where the pickleball courts were. So that's now a nice parking lot. So especially with soccer in season, it's busy on Saturday, so it's a nicer parking lot. I did have an arson at Loon Lake, which I had shared out with Jake and Krista, Lakes Committee. That bathroom is currently closed, still trying to get through to Derek with a clean answer of when they're going to come. It looks like staff assumed it might have been fireworks thrown in there, but it was all charred on the inside. It didn't burn it to the ground by any means, but the outside and the inside have quite a bit of damage. So Department of Fish and Wildlife were notified. This was about a month ago.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Wow.
And they know that it needs to be, and they didn't hesitate to say, yeah, no, we'll get out there and get this fixed up, but it's going to be a bit of a job for them. So I reached out to them again this week and just said, I need an update. Got a board meeting on Wednesday, didn't hear back. So I may go up the chain of command a little bit and start CCing people to get an answer, but
They do the work, we had to buy the paint.
Yeah.
well, with the, yes, I mean, we could send them that invoice, now that I'm thinking about it, since they're gonna fix it up. Oh, I'm sorry, this wasn't that paint was for the other toilets, that wasn't for the loan. We didn't patch up like Loan Lake. I'm getting my vault toilets mixed up. This was for, the other lakes, probably Deer Lake, but I know they had painted the toilet, so, sorry, wrong facility. Right thing, so, anyways, so dealing with them, it's the end of season, so those things do get quieter, but still, they need to be taken care of. Some potentially good news. We're waiting to hear from RCO about getting an additional 45,000 towards our pickleball project. I think I mentioned this last month. The update, there's two phases to this. So in dealing with the grant manager, I'd explained to her that we're over budget on the pickleball project and we're using some of our M&O funds to deal with it. So she said there was the option of an extra 10% funding, which would be 45,000. But they have to A, confirm that they've got extra money this year, and B, that the director would have to sign off. So I got the news yesterday that they did confirm that they've got the money. So she goes, I'll be scheduling a meeting hopefully by the end of this week with the director to sit down and pitch your case basically for the extra 45. That would be great. It would allow us to take some of that M&O money and might be able to use it for something like the office space that you guys approved at the last meeting or something like that. So it might give us the opportunity to give us a little bit of financial flexibility. So I should know that by the end of the week, early next week, they're saying, so that's good. We're in the early stages of the financial and accountability audit. Feels like we just did this, and we did. We're scheduled to start the audit on the 30th. Pre-audit meeting is on the 22nd. Carrie and Corinne have been working diligently, trying to just get everything in order so it's as quick and easy and painless as possible. Speaking of stuff Carrie's been preparing as part of your packet, and she's going to email this out in the next day or so, right?
I already sent it out.
You already sent it out, good. She had to create two drafts of the budget this year. She had to create a draft of what happens if the levy passes and a draft of what happens if the levy doesn't pass. So that she sent both copies for your review. Next month is the budget workshop. So you're not looking for comments tonight, obviously, but we are asking that you take time to look at it before October 8th. Give us a couple of weeks. So if you want to sit down with Carrie and me, or if you want to just send comments, if you get those comments to us by the 8th so that we have time to process and get all that stuff done, that would help. And then again, we do have the workshop next month as our regular meeting happens. We had to trespass an individual from our parks for 30 days for repeatedly dismissing staff when being instructed to put our dog on a leash. I emailed some of this to you guys. We have 4 documented interactions over the course of a month with 4 different staff. So this wasn't a personal thing that happened. And on the last one, she swore and started using derogatory words towards the staff. That was a deal breaker. Not ironically, but she still hasn't officially been given the trespass order. But Tom, in their last interaction, explained that if this could lead into trespass, well, the officer put a note on her door saying, "Call me." And as of earlier today, she hasn't called back, but she also hasn't been back to the park. So I think she knew the note from the officer, what it meant, but she's still going to be served, and the 30 days will start once she is given that. The officer said, "I'll keep going back. At some point, she's going to be there."
On her home?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just, you just can't let staff be treated like, treated like that. I mean, for something as simple as putting your dog on a leash.
Full support of that.
Yeah. So coffee with the director started this week. I didn't have anyone, but it is available. So we're publicizing that out on social. You're welcome to come by.
What?
10 o'clock. Oh, I was here. Had a good cup of coffee. Yeah. It's still early.
They're offering up donuts.
Hey, we're building a pool. We got to save some money. But that's anyway. So that's a good thing. And the Aquatic Foundation is going to be at Bayview this Saturday, discussing the upcoming levy. Similar to us as the foundation, they're not allowed to promote a yes or no vote, but they can do what we're doing, which is go out there and just give the information. So I had an FAQ sheet of just things people should know about the levy. And so they're going to be out there. You're welcome if you got some time on Saturday to make an appearance. I think it would mean a lot to them to just go and say hi if you're by the market on Saturday. And then a reminder that next month's board meeting is the 4th Wednesday of the month, not the 3rd. So you're welcome to come on the 15th, but we won't be here. So, and that is, we did that a couple times this year to make it more accommodating for getting the island counted. Whenever there's 5 Wednesdays in a month, do it at the later one. This makes sense for getting the financial stuff all together. Upcoming dates we'll talk about. We've got the public meetings coming up in the next couple of weeks. We'll talk about those. And the ribbon cutting we'll talk about. And that is the staff report.
Any questions or comments? Then we shall move on to unfinished business, comprehensive plan programs.
What about the committee and community meetings?
Well, what about that? How about that? Committee and community meeting reports. Anyone have any committee reports?
Let's see if I can find what it's called. I did attend the second meeting of the Fish and Wildlife planning group. I'm forgetting the exact name. Do you remember? Anyway, waterfront, water access planning discussions.
What they call Region 4.
Yeah. It was I would say approximately 20 people attended.
I was working.
And it was a good discussion. And it really, like, the first meeting was really just introductions, and this one was, I think, introducing the issues, really, in terms of where properties are, types of properties, and again, kind of initial discussions. I stayed quiet for all of it, except for one comment, because we just kept talking about the properties, and I felt like it was really important to talk about the users of said properties. And that if the plan is or if the goal is to create a plan going forward, one of the first steps should be figuring out how people's usage of these properties are changing, and thinking about, like, I was at Lone Lake actually not long before that, and somebody was coming off, a woman was managing basically a rowboat into the back of her car. And so here's somebody who's taking a very traditional boat on Lone Lake, but she was doing it for exercise. It was like set up like a rowing show, as opposed to going out there and fishing, or even sailing on it, as is, we've seen in the past with the yacht club using it. So that just kind of stuck with me as here's a user using this lake for recreation in a way that that perhaps has not traditionally been used. So, and the comments were positively accepted. And I think the next meeting is in a couple of weeks.
I didn't get notified about that meeting. I may reach out to them because I was supposed to be on the list. So, it was
The rowing club also uses that at Freeland Park, or if it's choppy or whatever else. Like I was just talking to somebody last week about how much they use Lone Lake now for their rowing.
Okay, that's great.
All right, now we'll move on to unfinished business, comprehensive plan program.
all right. Well, change the picture to the nice picture of our pickleball. This is about a week ago. It looks quite different now. They Trico, the contractor, does drone pictures, and they were out there earlier this week. They just haven't posted them yet. So it's nice that they do that because it keeps us visually updated. Let's talk pickleball. Courts are coming together nicely. We're on pace to have substantial completion on or around the 15th of October, which substantial completion means the courts will be open to the public. We will bill our CO once the work is completed. We figured out we're not just working with pickleball and the Aquatics Foundation. We figured out how to get the 54,000 raised, as I had mentioned in the vouchers. We figured out how to bill that out, so we're going to get that. Ribbon cutting for this is going to be a little tricky. On my list for our meeting with the contractor this week is trying to figure out how much before the courts are ready to be played on will we be notified of a firm date. Because I don't want, it's going to be mid to late October. I don't want to delay it anymore because it's going to be limited days for people to play before the weather turns. But I also want to have a ribbon cutting. So there's this need to be able to set a date as early as possible to let people know. So I'm going to try to get some more clarity on that as to how much warning we're going to have as far as when they're going to know for sure. But the fence post went in, some of the cement curbing went in now. So they're really getting into some of the structural stuff. By the next month's meeting, the courts likely will be done, or if not done, really close to being done. So we're it's a rush, but they're doing great. Trico's been great. Tom's been great with them, just giving them the support they need. So everything's going good there. The pool, after a slight delay, I mentioned the $1,500 earlier from the state. Trees did start coming down yesterday, so they are starting in the middle section there, kind of by the cement pad. If you poke your head in there, you can see the clearing happening. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. People are already commenting.
Yeah. See, I haven't heard that, so it's probably good.
No, to me personally.
I don't.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, they can come to coffee at 10 o'clock on Mondays. Send them in. We do have a little stretch of trees along Max Welton that belong to Island County. This is part of us deeding them the land. This is what we've been dealing with the last week or two. We had to jump through a lot of hoops this week, doing a lot more tree diagrams. They wanted a list of specific species that we'd be taking out and specific species we'd be putting back in, and had all that done. So now we have a date of October 1st for those trees. So it's not a lot of trees, but it's a lot of the trees that are right along the Max Welton Road. And we're saving as many as possible. And me and the project team, and we've walked that 100 times now and identified as many trees that are solid or outside of the fall zone of the building. But several are coming down. So that's just going to start on the 1st, which is fine. Groundbreaking was a huge success. Thank you to all. Beautiful weather. I think I counted 105 people in total, which was great. I got some pictures to share. I mentioned earlier the trail impact has been identified. It will be minimal. It will be a little fluid at times. Working with the school district, not only the cross country team, as I mentioned, but the other ones. We do have a stretch of trees. I'm just going to show you. I'm going to pop out of the slideshow here for a second and show you some trees. Where to go? There we go. This is to give you a little bearing. This is Max Welton here. This is where the pool's going to be. This little stretch here, which borders the Dakin property. And this line is a little far south. It's
So we
We're
can't.
not
Oh.
seeing it.
I'm sorry. Let me close out the PowerPoint. We can come back to that. So. Okay, well, let me just minimize that and there we go. So Maxwellton Pool, this little stretch here, which again, this is too far south, it's not this much. We had this survey for where our property is. And when we started looking at the trees along this stretch, there's a few problems. There's a really bad alder here that's dangerous. There's a couple trees that are pushing under the driveway, which are the roots are. And there's one or two trees that are just really clearing out a few of these trees is going to make the site a lot more sun accessible. It's going to make that back patio and lawn area. The other day, when it was really nice on Monday, Tom and I were over there at 1 o'clock, and the trees were casting shade already onto what would be the building at 1 o'clock on a beautiful day. So we're going to take down probably 6 to 8 trees we're still identifying. We're going to have the surveyor come back out, and right now he's got like 3 markers along this stretch. We're going to have him mark it like every 10 feet because we can have no doubt that whatever trees we touch are clearly on our side. We're going to double check and triple check to make sure we're not touching anything even close to the neighbor's property. So, but there will be a few trees coming out along this stretch, not many. And they need to come out because they're damaging the driveway or they're dead or causing other issues. But that's just an FYI. You know, just I'm just letting you guys know we're doing everything we can do to make sure that we're not touching the neighbor's tree.
Speaking of trees, going back to the Island County side of trees, and you said that you had to tell them what species you were pulling
Yes.
and what species will be planted.
Yes.
How did you determine which species would be planted?
And we're not talking about huge stretches here. It's probably about 8 trees we're adding back in, and it's consistent with the landscape plan that's already along the front. But you know, Tom identified specific trees that were sturdy, that would grow but not grow to be 100 feet. Wouldn't put the building in risk. So that was how it was. You know, we used Tom's expertise to and there's still room to wiggle on that. I mean, we're not going to put these in until probably the end of 26. But if we do change it, we got to go back to the county and let them know because they did say as part of this, they will be coming out to make sure that we're following through on our landscape plan, which is, anyways. So let me hop back in. Forgive me here for a second as I too many things open. Back into the comp plan, so just round this up. So, all I got left are pictures. So, thank you to the shovel holders, and then look at that group. That's a good looking group there. That's both the pickleball and the pool. I thought really showed out for these groundbreaking. So, really tells you the excitement and energy for these programs for these projects, I should say. So, and that is it for the comp plans report. Busy, lots of good stuff. Exciting to see progress happening over there. They are working Monday through Thursday. They're doing 410s, the tree clearing guys are. So Friday will be slower and, you know, be interesting. It's been an interesting couple of weeks as that space just kind of opens up. So.
Moving on to new business. A levy informational plan.
All right, well, let me catch up here. Give me way too many screens here. Well, working on a plan to provide the information to the public about the upcoming operations levy. It's a very real important levy, obviously. It just really, you'll notice when you review the budgets, it really impacts the flexibility and the ease of opening the aquatics. We have 2 plans, either one will work, but it'll be a lot easier if this levy passes. So currently the approach we're taking is threefold. A direct mailer, which we'll talk about in just a second, to get feedback. Obviously, we mentioned coffee with the director, and then we've got 2 public meetings. And as part of this, I'm going to show you a draft of the slideshow that we're planning for the public meeting. And then very roughly, thinking about it, I don't think we're going to get huge crowds. I don't think this is going to be crowds. I don't think like we got for the pool. I think this will be a smaller group. So some kind of welcome by board members that are there. I've got a PowerPoint, and then we'll just be open to questions. So not a real complicated agenda, just pretty straightforward. Want to get people as much information as we can. Which leads me to the mailer, which I think is a pretty important piece because this is the one thing that's going to go into everybody's mailbox. So we want to make sure that it's saying what we want it to say. A lot of people aren't going to come to the public meetings and they're not going to have coffee with me, but they will get this in the mail. So just want to take a second to kind of talk through if you guys want to see anything added, subtracted, anything like that. The first thing is kind of the introduction. Any comments? This is where we will put the stampage, and so this is just the front of it.
Okay. So one thing,
Yep.
looking at the front and the pictures,
Yep.
as much as I love the kayaks, I think it would be more effective if that photo was like a swim lesson photo, like from the summer, like maybe the summer swim lesson
Mhm.
program.
I can tell you why I didn't put swim stuff in it.
Okay,
And I didn't, and it was a deliberate decision,
okay,
because my thinking was, I want people to realize this is a parks levy, not a pool levy. But if we do the swim lessons that were outside, that does kind of send a different vibe. So,
right.
yeah.
Right,
So-
and then also instead of like the team, I like the team photo because it's showing a lot of people.
Mhm.
But should they be like, instead of just they like in action, do we have people actually playing? That's the other thing, like nobody's actually in motion in
Yeah,
any of these photos.
I guess so they're not, they're all putting together. Yeah, we can find some pictures.
We
So. And then on the back,
Are we ready to go to the back?
oh, sorry,
That's okay. The front's kind of simple, so I wasn't expecting a deep conversation. The back is more the detailed. Right, let's go to the back. There we go. And we did make some edits here, so you'll notice.
We have some photos from the concerts in the park. Would one of those work? Krista? The one that would show-
that might be better. I mean, I like seeing people using our picnic shelters, but the concerts in the park might be a more efficient way of showing more people using our facilities for the arts.
What about, too, I just think trails are such a big thing on the south end. Even a picture of our new trail, Max Walton,
Mhm.
right there,
Yeah.
doesn't have to have people or anything. That would be a neat addition, because I think a lot of people don't realize the trails are part of
Yeah.
parks governance.
I get a picture of people walking into the next.
There you go.
I'm sure I can get some of
Great,
people.
that would be
Yeah, I think that really add.
terrific.
But we'll notice on this back page, we made some edits that aren't on the fly. Oh, you won't notice this because this isn't the updated version. Never mind. We had made some edits, like we put zeros before the decimal spots. We centered some of the lineage here. So there were some minor edits that have happened, but back to you guys. Back page, let's talk.
Okay. Again. A question, a discussion point or question, instead of doing 455, 556,
Mhm.
just with the home values here,
Mhm.
would it make more sense to do 400, 500, 600, 700?
It's easy now. We can do that. And just
This is good.
I just figured from there, people would be able, they know, they can do the math.
Right.
Or maybe not, but they can see the,
they can have a coffee.
the high and the low, whereas again, knowing the home values.
We have 7.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. That's easy.
One second before you move on.
The other thing that isn't on here that I'm planning to add is a QR code right here. That'll lead them to our website with the frequently asked questions. So it isn't added here, but that's why there's empty space here.
I think on the 5 cents, we should just specify the remaining construction for the aquatic center.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that most people will assume what that's for, but I could see someone not knowing. Constructing what? Is there something else in addition with one about this?
That's a good point, because I made the point on the front page that we want this to be about the park levy, not about a pool. And on the back, I kind of assumed that they knew that was for the pool. So that's a really good catch.
I do really like our chart as a whole. I think that's really responsible, because people can easily see figure out what their home value is and what they're gonna pay.
With that QR code underneath it, Tell them where it goes.
Yes. Yeah. SWPRD
Or more
or action.
thank you. For up,
When is this gonna go out?
The plan was early October, thinking the mailer, that's about the time, like the first week or so of October. The thinking is, what time are people getting the stuff in the mail?
then
Yeah.
why are we including two
Yeah,
public meetings that will have happened?
Oh,
That's what I was getting to.
oh, interesting.
Unless we want to add another meeting for after this goes out or drastically move up the
Yeah.
timing for this mailer.
I think we want to see the response and see if there's a need for an extra meeting. I don't want to add an extra meeting because I really don't think there's going to be a huge, like, I want to go out on a Tuesday night and talk about this response. Maybe there is.
So is there any way we can get this out before the October 7th meeting?
Yes.
Because September 24th is gonna be difficult.
No, we can't do that, but I think that that's next week. But yes, I think that's a good goal is we just push it out the end of the month to get in the mailboxes and then it's there a few days before the meeting for people.
We adjust it to 4 rows and have it be 400, 500, 600.
Yes. Yeah, I did that. Oh, in my scratch, I did that.
Okay.
So. Yeah, that'll be a lot cleaner. Did catch on September 24th. As many times as I read that, it never dawned on me. Oh,
Yeah.
It's not the right date.
This has to go out like
it is,
tomorrow.
but they're not gonna get it.
Oh,
By the time they get it in the mail, Jake pointed out that.
oh, right.
It's gonna be, yeah, and for that matter, it was a good one you two did. For that reason, that same thing, I can also get rid of the September 15th and just say every Monday through November 3rd.
Yeah.
I also think it looks really good. I like it because when I first looked at it, it's very clear, concise. There's not too much information. They want
Yeah, well, that's what the QR code hopefully drives them to. You just wanna, I mean, it really is the goal, just to give them information. And some people are gonna vote yes, some people are gonna vote no, and that's their decision. But it really is just not, it's really meant to be like, we just wanna give you what it is. This is what it is. And I think the people I've talked to, which has only been a few at this point, it's reasonable. I mean, I think that's okay. This is what it is. It's not, we're trying to keep it as inexpensive as possible.
Our current rate is 22 cents.
Yes.
That's our current.
Pays the current bills. Any other comments or thoughts on this? I will, while we're talking about the public meetings, they're next Wednesday. We should probably get a head count and a approach as to, and you don't necessarily have to give this to me right now, as to who's planning to attend which of the two meetings. And I know there's been some talk in the past about not having more than 2 of you at the meeting. I don't think that's a problem as long as 2 of you or more are not on the stage talking about this at the same time. So I don't think it's a problem for all of you to show up at both meetings. I don't think it's a problem, as long as you're not having a discussion about it publicly. And I'll be doing a lot of the talking and answering of questions. And so even if 1 or 2 of you are on the stage with me randomly, so. You don't need to give this to me now, but it would help me over the next day or 2 if you just tell me, hey, I can make 1, I can make both, I can't make either. So.
You're doing a slideshow, also picture diagrams like we had in the past and or just out of curiosity.
No, because I don't
I
want
think a lot of people want to see visually what is this now looking like.
Yeah, but you get into the whole pool thing though. And I know there's a balance and I know that the reason we're doing this now.
People are gonna want to see that.
Yeah, I might bring them aside. And if we have 2 or 3 people show up, it's gonna be a different kind of meeting than if we get 10 to 20. I can bring, and then we'll go through some slides later about the pool and maybe I just have those in my back pocket. So people ask specifically, hey, what's the update on the pool? It could be something during the question time, could be something that we pull up easy. The only boards that we have are the ones from 2023.
Right.
And they're not bad. I mean, they're still pretty
It
accurate.
isn't drastically different.
No. And so it is kind of fun for people to see those. And, oh, that's what's going to be in.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
I think it builds excitement more than it does
Yeah.
set up question.
Are we gonna go through the slide deck for the
Yes.
meetings?
So let's hop over. If you guys are okay with the mailer. Please.
Is there any way to put on there what it is that we oversee? Because it's one of those things where there's so much
Yeah.
misinformation with the public where they don't know what we're taking care of and operating. And it is, if it's going out to everybody, it is a moment that you can clearly state to them, here's where it's going. So the person that's like, well, the boat ramp stinks here, I'm not giving you my money. That's not us.
I think that might be something that we could put on there and drive it to the QR code. I don't think we can put all that on here. But I think it's something that we could put, hey, see what we do.
Yeah.
You know, and then have it.
I was gonna say, other than adding a QR code, there's no actual website anywhere on this.
And email me.
Great
something.
spot.
I would think we'd be going to you, but.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I really.
Interesting. All right, ready to talk about the slideshow? This is a lot of information. And I kind of want the feedback in, and I don't want to go slide, I want to spend an hour on this. I just kind of want to show you kind of the flow of it. And then let you guys say, that's too much there, it's too little there. Jennifer and I sat down for a little bit and she made a lot of tweaks, which is nice. So first thing, the purpose of the meeting, provide you with information, making education. Yeah, that was my first mistake. I took Alpha's, that educational decision is the right thing on voting day. But let's get into the details. So starting out by just explaining what our current operation levy is, that it's 22 cents, that it passed in 22, it's good through 26. Highlighting the fact that, and I'll speak much slower, obviously, when I'm talking to people. Highlighting that by passing it this year, this would replace the final year of the current levy and start a new 4-year cycle.
That's what's missing. Start a new 4-year cycle.
Missing on the flare.
It's 23. Oh, I see what you're saying.
It passed in 2022, it's good through 2026. The new levy will replace the final year of the current levy. Nothing says,
It won't be as pretty for you guys, but I'm gonna do it this way so I can type and make changes at the same
that's
time.
fine.
The new levy would replace the final year of the current levy. Hit me and say what?
What you just said
It's
is
so
a
good.
new 4-year.
River.
4 dash year hyphenated. For your hyphenated.
Do we want to?
It'd be
include the
26
years?
through 29.
Yeah,
Well, we-
I think having the exact
Oh.
years, 2026 through.
New 4-year cycle, yeah,
New
2026.
4-year cycle.
That was a mistake earlier.
Educated.
Good. Then I kind of do what Sky talks about, which is kind of outline, all right, what the 22 cents, what are we getting for the 22 cents? And it's just kind of a desire to kind of show people that, okay, you're getting all this for 22 cents with the thought then I'm now pointing for 19 more cents, you're going to be getting an entire building and an entire thing. This is a sample, but quite honestly, there's a lot more that could have went on this one.
And I know that there's already a lot on these 2 slides and that it's about what we currently have.
Mhm.
But what I didn't see in this was what new programs might be happening
Mhm.
and what new facilities, including the pickleball courts and the aquatic center. And I don't know, I don't want to add more slides. I don't know if there's a way of doing that here.
I would say,
But that would
I would
come
say
later
more,
because
more
we're talking about
slides is
current
better
levy,
than.
current programs. So when we get into the next slides, when we're talking about the one that we're putting on the ballot,
Okay,
is where that would come.
Yeah,
okay.
I hear what you're saying. It's like, okay, here's what we're doing, but now here's what we're going.
Right,
There's a
so
transition
it
point.
says to, where this comes up is, okay, if we're going out for the 22 cents for the district, right? What is coming up in the district? For that person who's never gonna get in the pool.
Right.
What do we have coming for them?
No, that's good. Well, and let's flow through the slides and figure out where that would fit. Because I think, right, we initially started this by talking about the 22 cents, but now we're talking about the proposed levy, where we do highlight the years, the 46 cents. And what will it cover? That's going to cover all the facility, and this is might be the next slide, might be this slide. The expense of the new recreation center or the aquatic center, and then the cost to fund the remaining construction.
Maybe it's as simple as a line of, development of new programming. Or it,
Community.
Well, you could put potential development.
yes,
That way,
Right.
it leaves it open-ended.
Well, I think the right place for that would probably be right
right.
the next slide. But I think, let's see what the next slide is. Yes, so what's the new levy going to cover? Here's all, and then a slide right in between those two that says what you're saying, which is here's, it's not just, oh, you're getting approval plus everything. You're getting all this other stuff. And that's a good place for the pickleball courts to be highlighted and
Pickleball courts, and again,
the new programming
new
ideas.
programming.
Good. Yeah, I can add a slide in between those two. That's good. And I think that's the kind of slide people want to hear. So I don't think it's a big deal to add a slide there. Because if I'm sitting here as a resident, that's what I'm interested in, right?
Right, and I think it's important for the public to understand that, yeah, the aquatic center is a big deal.
Yeah.
And is gonna bring a lot to this community, but this is not going to become the South Woodby Aquatic Center District.
Right. Yeah, we're a parks district that has a
We are
pool,
still a park
not a
and
pool that has a parks
recreation
district.
district,
Yes.
and we're not going to back off from that mission.
Yes. I use that phrase a lot. We're a parks district that has a pool, not a pool that has a parks district. And I think both are awesome, but they run in sync like that. Okay. Slide added. And then I get into some of the numbers. How do we get to the 46 cents? And I break it down into the three areas. Which in a second, I'll show you kind of how it'll show people what the practical impact is in a second.
To echo Jake's comment about the mailer, go back to that previous slide just to have it consistent. Operating the SWARC, remaining construction SWARC.
Good. So then we get into how do we get here? And this gives a little bit more details. It kind of tells, okay, what does 22 cents mean for us as a district? Well, 22 cents gets us roughly 1 point. And these numbers, me and Carrie's been so busy, we haven't tightened these up. These numbers probably will get tightened up a little bit before we're done. It also projects what the 19 cents will get us and what I think the question I would have if I was the public, this is 5 cents. I get that you have to operate the pool, get this, but why are we doing this pool? So I think having that tangible number of 415,000, and in a future slide, you'll see I actually break down what that means to the average homeowner. And there are factors that, just so I want to explain this in the meeting, there are factors that will impact us a little bit. We don't know actually later this week. Is that what you said?
Later this month.
So we might know actually by the 7th meeting, the numbers, but right now we don't know the property values. We haven't got that information from the county. These numbers are based on the 2023, which have been the last time that we had this thing. So with a 1% increase we're allowed each year. So again, the numbers are pretty accurate, but I haven't had the genius next to me have time to sit down and really before the 24th, we'll make sure I'm not saying something stupid. And then I break it down kind of one by one. The 19, I'm sorry, I don't break down one by one. I break down the specific pool one, which is okay. We're expected to our expected expenditure budget right now is about 2.2 million when fully operating, which means a full year because 27 will be a broken up year. Projected revenue is about $600,000 a year, which gives us the 1.6 million, which is why we need the 19 cents. So it's kind of walking through what the 19 cents wasn't just a random number. We actually have a budget for each of these, and it's why we came up with this number. And then I do the same thing with the 5 cents, explaining that the bids came in more than we had budgeted. And with the cost of everything, that the decision was made to move forward. And that, we have funds in our current operating budget if we need them, but that ultimately this LTGO will allow us to fund the LTGO without having to take any more. Yes.
Okay, 2 things.
Yep.
The lowest bid
Oh.
came in
By the way, I'm not married to any of this, so I don't like using this many words, so feel free to.
What is an LTG?
I will explain that in the meeting. I did think about that because you gotta have to explain, okay, this is, so. Some of this is just gonna have to be slowed down and talked through a little bit.
Yeah, and maybe we can use something more general in general. Just a more general term because, you know, it might not be somehow an LPGF, so
That's where one of the factors,
additional financing
Approving.
or something like that.
Yeah.
additional financing.
I'm not sure if that's right, but
Well, let's just put it there. We can
Something
always,
yeah.
for now, we can change this up later. Yeah. You were giving them a lot of information, so the simpler we can make it, I think this does make sense, because,
And I would almost say, okay, if you, like as a voter,
Mhm.
if you have the funds in your current operating budget, why do you need another 5
Right.
cents?
but that's
So
what,
I would say maybe the 2026 budget.
I think that's. Okay, well, I also do though with significant cuts.
Yeah.
So I do put in that we could cut stuff,
Yeah,
We need it for those next 4 years.
yeah. I mean, if you don't want your trails maintenance, then you don't want. Yeah. But it's also being very transparent. The message here is, we're not just saying, hey, we're gonna believe you're gonna pass it, and we're gonna, we just signed a $25 million contract. Believing that, we have a contingency plan. It's kind of the message that I want to send there.
Instead of, oh,
I was just gonna say kind of a qualifying word, like although.
I was gonna say however, yeah, same thought.
Remember, these are bullet points. We want people just to have bullet points. He's going to be talking.
Right.
So these need to stay
Yeah.
brief.
So is that bullet go with the second one saying we can continue to pay the 400,000 a year?
Yes, I mean, with cuts, we could, well, we'd have to pass a levy in 26 regardless. But I mean, if the worst case scenario would be passing a levy and the district comes back and says, we don't want to operate the pool, we'll give you 22 cents, right? That's not going to happen, but that would be the worst thing that could happen as far as the money goes. And in that case,
We would, oh, sorry.
yeah, no, please, Ben.
We
Right,
would
but
still
how do
need-
you,
We would still need more than 22 cents if we had taken out the LTGO.
yeah, but I mean,
Forward.
just connecting the dots here. So how do you prevent someone from saying, well, if you have the 400,000 every year, why do you need 19 cents? Why do you need 16 cents? 15 or 14?
It's a nickel.
Yeah, the argument is that we'd have to make significant cuts, and we can come showing kind of what those significant cuts mean. We wouldn't have any capital projects. We wouldn't have any, as far as like Tom's stuff or anything, putting the fence up along the community park, all that stuff we do would come out of the budget.
But I mean, why, and then I wouldn't even say it. Like, why say it if the implication is the park would not continue as you would expect it to be as a voter, like from past experience?
It's not really an option, right? It's
Yeah.
All right. I'm seeing head nods agreeing with that.
And then also this increase, it's not an increase, it's just this 5 cents.
How about
that sounds
just,
better.
how about just this? This will allow us to.
This will allow us, yes, to pay the annual payment without impacting. I don't think it's current budget, it's current service level.
Service.
Level of service.
Of wordsmithing. I've been in so many educational meetings, every English, picture a room full of English teachers all trying to wordsmith something. Oh, wait a minute, wait.
I also,
Jennifer's point, they're bullet points.
Yeah.
You can explain these.
My wife's an English teacher, so every night for me.
I think also not giving any numbers that we're not 100% sure about, like not locking ourselves in too much. So that they come back and say, well, you were gonna put 5 cents towards the construction project, you could take out a bigger LTGO, or you know what I mean? So just being careful about the verbiage as far as saying, you know, it's estimated that this is how these will be allocated. And you don't get to pick and choose. We're doing all 46 cents.
It's yes or no.
And I appreciate that wordsmithing is wordsmithing, but language is powerful.
No, but I think all the changes we made so far are good, except for one. I'm just kidding. Just make me think which one that was. And then I did an impact table of not only, so I used the $600,000 house as just a staple point, but it kind of showed what your monthly and yearly thing would be for the whole thing, and then broke it down. When you see that 5 cents, which again, I think might be something people pause at, you realize that if you have a $600,000 assessed value, it's $2.50, which is something, but it's not, 50 or something. So I think this, in my mind, if I was at the meeting, this is the slide I would want to see. Okay, here's the real impact to me.
Is there any way to fit that?
Again, read that table.
Well, where you're removing one line, right?
I can play with it.
And if you can shrink it a little bit,
Yeah, I just,
Is this gonna be a full page?
yeah, no.
That
It's gonna be a half page.
So keep in mind that that's also gonna be much smaller.
I know.
Yeah, I think,
I think
Because
that,
your piece of paper there is not as big as what it's going to be.
so I think that again, the
Yeah.
Q, yeah, okay, we
you
can play
can't
with it. We'll play with it.
play with it.
Yeah, there we go. And then we get to the why now, because the question clearly could be, you have another year. Why are we doing this a year early? Fair question. And I'll just kind of outline, okay, well, if we pass it in November, we get it in April. It means that the aquatic center will open with no delays. There will be delays if if the levy doesn't pass. There's just no way we can open it, and get the money at the same month. It also will allow us our required reserves to be filled, maybe not completely filled. We're working on that, but not having this money in advance, the 25% that we have to have in our reserves, we're not going to have it if we don't have this money in advance. Also allow us to hire the key leadership like the HR manager and some of those people in advance so that they're ready and we're not just scrambling at the last minute. And ultimately, it'll be a smaller LTGO bond, and I can change that word to a smaller loan, smaller financing. I can come back to this, but I'll put financing for now. Will be needed due to the funds going. So yeah, we'll be putting money from the money received next year to that. So it's a pretty good argument, I think, for why we're doing it a year early than it could be. And I think I didn't want to do a negative slide because I was going to do a slide of what if it doesn't pass? And then you're kind of explaining what 27 looks like and trying to hire people and open a pool and the public, the building's ready to be used and we're not ready for it. And this just has a much, let's celebrate and get this thing open. If the levy passes, what will we do with the funds? And that's what I just said is what we're going to explain. So we have the extra money in 26, which will be the operation money for the pool, which we're not obviously operating. So we're going to have three things. And again, these numbers are going to get tightened up, but we're going to have the reserve funds that we have to put aside. We're going to stock those up. We're going to hire some staff in the last half to the last quarter of 26. And we are going to put the rest towards the financing. I'm going to change the word eventually, but for now I'm just going to put also financing, say they change it.
We will also have the extra funds in 2027.
Yeah, I didn't like that line, but I'm trying to say that the pool's not going to open in January. So we're having operating funds for all of 27 too that we haven't really. I don't say it's there's going to be money in 27. I'm just going to get rid of this line.
I just don't like the
bothered
word
me.
extra.
Or you could say funding. also
Yeah.
funding.
We will have.
So,
Yeah.
I think it's better without it. That was a line. I forgot about that line till you just pointed it out and it bothered me earlier. It's like, again, you can confuse people when you're trying to explain to people. I don't want to do that. So, that's it. And then questions, and then we'll see where people are at. And again, is it possible that we'll get there? There's one or two or three people, and maybe we won't even do a slideshow. Maybe we'll just kind of stand around and talk about these things with them, and that's possible. I mean, so we'll be flexible on the night of. I do think we'll probably get some aquatic people at these meetings because they're supportive and anxious to be part of this. But I mean, I hope we get people that have real questions. I hope we get people that are curiously wondering what they're getting for their money, and we can explain it. I think that would be a good argument. So that is the plan. That was excellent feedback. That's all I have for the maintenance. So,
Where have the meetings been advertised so far? And when?
social media, and we did a, really? Oh, no, the meetings haven't been on social media. I'm sorry, I was thinking about the coffee with the actors. So we'll put them out there. We'll send them to some of the organizations. We'll, the flyer will catch the October 7th one.
Curious list.
Oh, Drew's list. Don't bad about Drew's list.
Reach out to the chambers.
Yes.
Oh, that was another one.
And
Yeah,
Langley.
Yeah.
To get it on the newsletters.
yeah, the chambers are on my list.
Navigator. The Navigator, that's what the school district site.
There.
Oh,
There.
Not you.
I thought you were calling
But
it.
Or peach jar.
Although, that's a great nickname to have.
That is, that's, yeah. If you can make that stick, I appreciate that. Yeah, that's a good point. Keeping that nickname. All right, well, thank you. That's all I have for the M&O levy stuff. And again, I'm just gonna remind you what I said in the email, that the stuff that was in your board packet, they're asking this, they want to make this park bench a surprise. So, I've given you a copy in your packet. There's also a copy in front of you for those that are here. The bench is pretty much identical to the ones we have in the basketball court, so they're uniform. They're the ones that we have. It would not be a bolted in bench, so it would be mobile, so we could move it around as needed. And that it would be located with a plaque on it accordingly. I mean, I'm trying to be as nonchalant as I can, but they really want to make this a surprise. So, but anything like this that has a dedication thing, by policy, the board has to approve. So I'm here asking for you to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the new park bench at the sports complex.
I'll second that.
It has been moved and seconded to approve the new park bench at the sports complex. All those in favor say aye.
Erica.
Krista, aye.
Jake, aye.
Matt, I.
Jennifer, aye. All those opposed say nay. The ayes have it and the motion passes.
I will reach out and secure the funds, hoping to have the bench in place in the next couple of weeks.
Interior design update.
All right, staff will be sharing an updated version of the interior of the new aquatic center. This is not by far not the final version, but well, the materials are all set. We're not changing anything there. We're still working on colors and finalizing those a little bit. You'll remember last time we had kind of the taco time look that's been dealt with. So, however, the finishes in the presentation are finals. Like I said, the carpets, and we're not changing substantive stuff. So basically, this is more of an informational thing, not necessarily looking for deep comments at this point. Just kind of want to keep you guys in the loop as to what things are looking like. And it's looking pretty good. So this is the entrance of the building. Again, don't get stuck on colors because colors are going to change. This is kind of the presentation wall. There's a bench here that's been added. The picture here is that groups, whether it's swim teams or whether it's birthday parties, we'll have a place to come and take a picture. It'll look really good on social media as people are advertising us out. You've got the LVT here, and then you got the cement here coming across the thing. The acoustic tiles, when we got rid of the carpet, the acoustic tiles went in. The colors on those we're working on, but that's coming together nicely. This is just another view, kind of an up close view of the wall there. The auditorium's off to the right. It's gonna be a really cool place for people just to sit and they can watch the swimming as well as cool environment.
You back up one slide?
Yep.
Over on the right, so that's cabinetry and
What?
sinks?
No,
I'm sorry, the left. My other right.
this is not a sink. There is cabinets down below. This is just stuff up here. There's not a sink there.
Okay.
This is some cabinetry down below. This is a place where I could see us putting like a percolator, letting coffee be there for people to come and just have a cup of coffee during their thing.
It's a counter.
It's a counter, yes. Good natural light there. You have a sunroof, a skylight up above. So lots of good seating, lots of places for people just to come. Down the hallway there would be the fitness room and the party rooms. Just get a third angle, you're kind of looking at the front door now, with the little sword thing here. So, this is the hallway. Remember this was dark glass before, so we cleared that glass up. Put the tiles, this used to be just paint, so yeah, the colors are gonna change a little bit. We'll have tiles around the drinking fountains, which will look really, really sharp. With good natural light again from the outside. Your locker rooms is gonna be more of a blue thing here going on here, but we're still kind of working on that. Nothing other than the colors, which we're still working on, like I said, but the actual structures of the locker room are pretty much the same as the last time you saw them. And then the sinks, again, no real changes in the locker room areas. I'm gonna skip through some of that. Oh, the fun things were in the auditorium. They did add over here, another little Southwoodby Aquatic Center. So if parents are out there and they, again, have a kids in a swim party, or they just want to take a little nap. It's a cool little marking. Other than that, again, the auditorium's not too different than when you saw it last time, but always fun to see it again. And yeah, different view. Same place. Oops. Here is our fitness room. This is the larger of the rooms. One of the decisions made was to get rid of they had a lot of colors on the walls, different colors. And the thinking is these are going to be a lot of multi-purpose rooms for everything from meetings to parties, and to simplify the color scheme so that particularly for the birthday rooms, you'll see parents, they're coming in to set up and decorate for their own party. They want to kind of do their own thing. So that is great. The things up here are the acoustic tiles, excuse me, which are fun. Here's the party rooms with, there's a divider down the middle. So this will close if you want two different rooms leading out to the auditorium on either side. So I think the lights have changed since last time. They're a little bit more modern. And again, the walls have been kind of neutralized a little bit to allow for individual uses a little differently. So I think, that's the last one. So yeah, it's coming together. It's looking great. So we're, it's kind of fun to actually see the thing come together.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah. In 18 months, this will be reality.
Did we ever land on like a lot of the pools we went and visited had a sales area? And I know we talked about that potentially, caps, whatever, you know.
We're definitely going to have one. Where it is and how we do it, there isn't really a great designated space for it other than just the front counter. But revenue from sales like that, everything from snacks to caps, right? Everything, all that kind of stuff. We're not going to get Snohomish level. If you mentioned this, Snohomish has like a Fred Meyer in their lobby. But we're certainly going to prioritize that because that's getting the revenue up to a certain level is important. So I'm not sure yet how we're going to do it, but it's not but it is going to happen. It has to happen.
It just seems like it would be part of that design plan because sometimes they have a case, sometimes they have it on a wall, variety of different ways you can do that. But
it might be something that once we're in there, we look to add something. Rather it's a cabinet on the wall or rather it's something else. I mean, it might be something that.
A vending machine?
Maybe a vending machine. Those get a little I've dealt with vending machines a lot. Those can be kind of complicated. Depends who's running them, I guess. But I think, particularly with the kids that come in on the weekends or their birthday parties, or just with their parents, having that kind of stuff, or I forgot my goggles, or I forgot my earplugs.
Yeah, I didn't mean it more as a revenue builder, more as a service to the
community. Sorry, I think about it as a revenue thing. And a service too.
$14 for a swim cap. I don't know.
14. That's half price. No, I'm just kidding. On the record.
Swim diapers.
Swim diapers, another good one.
Yeah.
It's essential.
Yeah.
Anyways, so exciting.
Fun, that's great.
So, and I just want to give you guys kind of the most recent update. And
Thank you. This is really nice.
Awesome.
we're getting there. So that is all I have.
Further discussion? We are adjourned at 7:36.
I will stop the recording in 2 seconds.